go ahead.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. So what you're about to see is a slide with so many career options in commercial real estate. It takes an entire team to either develop, acquire, or sell real estate. The nice thing about the industry is many of the skills are transferable from one position to the next. So you don't have to be pigeonholed in the same position for your entire career. I started out as a market analyst. I also have worked as an appraiser. I ran a real estate investment firm. So there's so many different things that you can do. Basically, everybody's looking at the same investment for a different level of risk. And so if you're the appraiser, you're kind of that non-biased person. If you're in the investor, they tend to think it's the best thing that was ever out there. And the lender, who typically has the most risk in the deal, or most money in the deal, they tend to be more risk adverse. So the nice thing is that the skills are transferable from position to position. The advice I would give you when picking a career in commercial real estate is to identify asset class type that you're most passionate about. And the reason I say that is where I find the most obstacles moving from position to position is that we're so specialized as an industry now. When I was entered the industry 30 years ago, people would develop office or industrial and retail. Thanks. The second slide is where I am. But today, as an example, I have a client who's a power center developer, and he said, Julie, you know, there's not a lot of power center development now. What should I consider? I said, well, maybe retail strip, because people are still going to the grocery store and need those community centers. And he said, I wouldn't even know how to do that. I mean, you know, and 30 years ago, retail was retail. So I would be mindful again of, are you interested in multifamily, industrial, retail? Once you're in a particular asset class type, it's easy to move about. So next slide. Okay, so when I think about the process of looking for a job opportunity, can you get it to advance to the next one? There you go. Great. Thank you. That's awesome. I assimilate it to being a product, and you have to go out and market yourself. And who better to market yourself than you? But if you don't position yourself properly in the marketplace, then you're going to miss out on opportunities. The first thing you need to, oops, we're flipping too fast there. If you go back to the product marketing slide. So when you think about product marketing, you're the product. What's the market demand for your product? Where's the demand located? And how does that fit into the overall picture? So when we talk about what is a product strategy and building your specific roadmap, be situationally aware of what's happening in the current economy to identify where the opportunities are. I know a lot of people are very worried about COVID. Well, with each situation creates new opportunities. And there are industries that are thriving as a result of COVID. So don't look for something as a roadblock, but find out where are the opportunities. And you'll see in a minute, Dallas just experienced its highest absorption rate in industrial space ever. Why? Online sales. Okay. So you have to do your research in terms of what is fueling the local economy. What are the economic drivers? In Dallas, we know top two are professional services and the transportation industry. So then you also have to look at where are the employment trends. So just like you're a product that just got invented, you need to figure out where's the demand for you and what are the compelling events and economic drivers looking for you. It takes a good amount of research, and from there you have to develop your roadmap. Okay, next slide, please. You'll have to hit the enter button because there you go. So just an example, Dallas Fort Worth, it's spinning really slow there, sees the highest year to date absorption. So if you know the local economy has a high demand for industrial, who are the real estate companies that develop industrial? Who are the companies that manage industrial? Who are the companies that are investing in industrial? Who are the companies who are thinking about locating in industrial if you're interested in a brokerage position? Do me a favor, hit enter one more time. Thank you. Okay, so then if you also read the headlines today, what's happening due to historic low interest rates is the mortgage underwriting industry is going crazy. It's the highest refinance levels in a long time. And so from a mortgage underwriting standpoint on residential mortgages, there's opportunities there too. So the point is, do your research, see what's fueling the economy. And actually the president of the Federal Reserve Bank said the people who are thriving in this economy and who are not unemployed are those people who are educated, who know how to navigate the landscape and find the opportunities and adjust. And that's you. That's why you're going to college. Next, hit enter one more time for me. Okay, so as she's hitting that button, I'll tell you, I am a real estate person at heart. Whenever you drop me into a new city, the first thing that I like to do is figure out what are the economic drivers of that local economy. Each economy is very different. If you think about 29 Palms, California, you've probably never heard of it before because really the only economic base in 29 California is a military Marine Corps base. That's what drives that local economy. If you look at the Washington, D.C. area, the majority of the employment is government related, whether it's state government, federal government, local government, or vendors who feed the government. So when you think about, oh, I want to live in the Washington, D.C. area, you have to think about the economic drivers and what are they doing? They're sitting in office spaces, okay? Conti, I think I lost my PowerPoint. I don't know if anybody else can see it. Okay, so it's very important, before you even, I think everybody's so anxious to just push out resumes, but you really have to have a plan, a positioning plan for yourself, and you need to develop your roadmap. The next thing I will tell you is you have to think about you as the product. What is your brand image? What image do you want to portray to people? Does your email say, partyrockstar@utd.com? That's not a good email address, right? Does your social media show you doing socially responsible things, posting good pictures that portray a good image of you? That's very important. When you volunteer on the board of the real estate club at school, are you portraying a good image? Just being a board member isn't enough. If you don't raise your hand and participate, do what you say you're going to do, exceed expectations, then that's not really leaving a good image for people in terms of managing your brand. What does your haircut look like? Think about who your audience is. If there's a 60-year-old hiring you, maybe they're not up on the current trends of purple hair and tattoos. So maybe taking a more conservative approach to not have colored hair, not show tattoos, wear loose fitting clothing. People my age, we send people to interviews and they say, Julie, can you ask them not to wear their clothes so tight? I know that's an unthinkable thing to say to people, but you are representing their company and they're trying to manage their image, and maybe that doesn't align with their image. So managing your brand is extremely important in terms of how are you talking? Are you making eye contact? Does your social media reflect a very positive image of yourself? Now, I can't say enough in terms of product positioning, which is using those University Career Center resources. We are so lucky at the universities to have individuals to help us write a professional looking resume, a powerful cover letter. They have industry research in terms of who's hiring and who's not. So take advantage. I have to tell you, I charge $1,200 to write resumes for professionals because it takes 4 hours to do that. And we're lucky we have those resources available to us at the university. You should camp out at the Career Center and take advantage of those great resources. The other thing is develop your elevator pitch. The term came to be because how do you sell yourself in an elevator ride to somebody? If you say something like, I want a job in real estate, that's too generic. Someone doesn't know really how to help you. Is that residential? Is it commercial? Is it in Dallas? Is it in Portland, Oregon? Where is it you want to work? So to say something, hey, I'm looking for a development firm located in the Dallas market that's growing and could use a sharp financial analyst like myself. Boy, that really is a really totally different message there, isn't it? All right, if you want to click on the next slide for me, that'd be great. Okay, so just like a product, when you go to look for a job in commercial real estate, any job in any industry, you have to have multiple channels of distribution. And if you look at this triangle inverted, the point is that what research shows us is the most impactful way to find a job is to have one-on-one meetings with persons. But that's the one that takes the most time resource, which is what you have the most limited amount of, okay? So multi-pronged approach. If you just respond to jobs online, your chances, you have a 12% chance of getting the job. I'm going to say that again. If you apply for a job online, you have a 12% chance of getting that job. Real estate is a relationship-driven industry, okay? Now, can you apply? I have a friend who applied for 1,500 jobs and got one. 1,500 jobs. So it's statistical probability. If you throw enough resumes out there, the probability one's going to stick might happen. But you treat your job search like you're a product for sale, and you get out of it what you put into it. If you write an article, do a speaking engagement. I have the good fortune of talking to you all at once. So I'm talking to multiple people all at the same time. Time efficiency, but I'm not really getting to know you on a personal basis. It entices me to maybe reach out to you, but I might forget to reach out to you, and then it never really comes to fruition. Okay, next one is networking. Networking, go back if you don't mind, Conte. Next one is your networking. And as we're coming down that funnel, now your probability of getting a job is even better. What research tells us is when we meet somebody face to face and have human contact, we're feeling more obligated to help them out and extend a hand. So I would encourage you to network through LinkedIn. Remember though, that's online. We don't have that same connection in social media as we do face-to-face. Go to industry networking events. Volunteer at the food bank, at Habitat for Humanity. That's where other professionals who are socially responsible are hanging out, okay? That face-to-face connection. Now, the next is student activities. I'm going to tell you right now, one of the best jobs I ever got was from my graduate school professor. Doubled my salary. Why? He knew I had drive, commitment, dedication, and I was smart. So how I behaved in the classroom made him pick up the phone call and said, Julie, I have a client. It will double your pay. I was like, I'm all in. Okay. So how you behave in the classroom, listen, your professors get opportunity all the time. Get good grades, pay attention, be passionate, if you want your professors to be able to put in a good word for you. I will also tell you, I have 3 adult children. They're all out of college. They're one is a UTD alumni, one went to UT. Anyway, if someone could please mute their mic, please, that'd be great. We'd appreciate it. Thank you so much. So all of my biological children have all gotten their jobs from former classmates. My son's a geophysicist. My daughter runs the social media platform for Kimberly Clark. My other son is a program manager for a startup IT firm. These aren't little baby jobs. These are jobs because their classrooms saw how their classmates saw how dedicated and smart they were, that they felt comfortable introducing them to their employers. Don't underestimate those people you're sitting with in the classroom, okay? Treat everybody with respect, shine as a student, go to the career fairs, participate in the clubs. Now, if you go to a club and you're in a board position and you don't execute on what you say you're gonna do, very bad reflection on your brand management, right? If you do what you say you're gonna do, you exceed expectations and deliver on what you say, very powerful, very, very powerful. I have to tell you, I was on a committee at Crew, and this individual, she always raised her hand. Oh, I'll do it. Oh, I'll do it. And she not only did what she said she was going to do, but she exceeded expectations. Well, fast forward 3 months, she got laid off from her job. And she mentioned it at the committee meeting. Well, guess what? One of the other committee members saw her, how she behaved in those meetings. She called her up right away. She says, you call me, I'll hire you. And she hired her that next day. So very powerful. You got to manage your brand. You got to be aware of what you're doing, what you're saying, how you're behaving, how you're dressing. Manage that brand, because all you have is that brand image, and you either increase your stock price or you're going to decrease that stock price. Okay. In terms of coming down that funnel, getting more attention, case competitions, informational interviews, very powerful. Now, when you ask a professional of a high caliber for an informational interview, you are asking them to spend time and money on you, because their time is very valuable. Be prepared. Only take a limited amount of time. Give them something, perhaps an article you just read on the article that morning that you think would be of value to them. Give them something in exchange for their time, okay? Now, the most powerful thing you can do is get in for a face-to-face interview. Interviewing is a skill all onto itself. And I'll have to tell you, I've been a professor 22 years, and the students who get the best paying the jobs are the ones that are best at selling themselves. They're not necessarily my star students. They're not necessarily my smartest students. They're the ones best at selling themselves. So if you are a modest person and you're not good at selling yourself, we'll stop it right now, because the only person who's able to sell you is yourself. And I hate to tell you this, but us females are worse at selling ourselves than the men, okay? Have some confidence, boast about your abilities, tell about your successes, and be proud of them. Don't act like it's inappropriate to be talking about yourself, because if you don't tell people about yourself, how will they know? Okay, next slide. Okay, there is an industry association for every aspect of commercial real estate. I've got two different slides here. There's the Appraisal Institute, the Hotel and Lobby, BOMA, CCIM, Cornet. This is your target market. Do research. There are not enough people graduating from college to fill the demand in the marketplace. They are looking for you. But it's kind of like, you know, finding a needle in a haystack. They're looking for somebody and you're looking for a job. How do you find each other? Figure out where they're hanging out. Go to these industry association websites. Many of them have student memberships. We got Arden a membership. We got Gabby a membership at Crew. Why? We know they're going to do well in those industry associations. We wanted to plug them in where the opportunities exist. They're brilliant ladies. They're going to sell themselves, but we had to get them into the right situation. Okay. There are a plethora of resources available on the industry association websites. And I'm going to go back to that other slide, Canty, the one that has selectleaders.com. That's a website only. Next slide, the upside down triangle. Yeah, the top where job board, selectleaders.com. Selectleaders.com is only for real estate jobs. And so when industry association members come in, they post their jobs here. So selectleaders.com. Of course, LinkedIn's website makes it so easy to reapply over and over and over, putting in your specific criteria. Remember, you got a 12% a chance of getting a job off a job board. I know for millennials and Gen Z, technology platforms are most comfortable for you. I'm telling you, real estate is a relationship-driven industry. As long as dinosaurs like us are running it, we are face-to-face people. That's what we want. We want to meet you face-to-face. Okay, down a couple slides. How am I doing on time? Okay, so
yeah, we're within the time frame. Sorry.
Okay. All right. So there's some more industry associations. They have chapters typically in major metropolitan cities across North America. And so check it out. Check it out. Okay. My next slide. I love this. The rule of 28 for marketing. When a company goes to market a product, the way that they stay top of mind is to stay in front of you a minimum of 28 days. Every 28 days, they're looking to touch their consumers so they don't forget, hey, if you're in the market for a computer, don't forget us, as an example. Well, there's a balance between squeaky wheel gets the oil and psycho candidate. Now, go to interview with somebody, follow up with a thank you note. And then if you're still looking for an opportunity, 28 days later, send them an email. Oh, thought you'd be interested. I heard this presentation. Here's a briefing on the presentation. It relates to what we talked to in the conversation. Or you might send them an email 28 days later that says, my university's having an event. We'd love for you to be able to attend. Stay in front of them. Your email communication shouldn't say, I'm still looking for a job. Any ideas? Okay. They've done everything they can. Anytime you talk to somebody and they're able to give you an informational interview, you meet them on the elevator, a last comment I think is very powerful, which perpetuates your call list, which is there anyone else you recommend I reach out to explore possibilities? And if you don't ask, they won't tell you. They might say, oh, call this person, call that person. So perpetuate your call list. I have my candidates keep an Excel spreadsheet, who they talked to, when they talked to them last, what did they mail them in terms of an article? Was it an informational interview? And what are they going to do next? And put it on your calendar, and 28 days later, follow up with them. Okay. Bring them value when you talk to them. Don't just say, I'm looking for a job. Okay. All right. Next slide. Resume builders. Okay, when you get that job, and you will get that job, what job should you get? How much should you get paid? I'm finding college graduates today with a degree in finance, business, from the business school, let's just say, are landing somewhere between $50,000 to $70,000 a year. It just depends on the size of the firm and where they're located. Cost of living changes around the country. The conversation you need to be having is not only base salary and bonus, but what is the total compensation? So I had I had one student who had two job offers, both paid $60,000, both had a 10% bonus. The compensation differed by 20%, although the base salary and the bonus were the same. And that's because the vacation, the medical insurance, the 401k was a difference of 20%. Okay. So make sure you talk total compensation, not just dollars and cents. Also, most important coming out of college is, what is the company going to provide to help me be successful in terms of training and support? Because if you don't get training and support, you're likely to fail. Companies are hiring you because you have a college degree. They don't expect you to have a specific skill set. They do expect you to have the aptitude to learn. It's their job to teach you. So figure out, what is their onboarding strategy? Pick the company that's going to provide you the training and support to be successful. Now, this number 4 is for those people who get a job. Your education's not over. You need to be a lifelong learner. I can't tell you how many individuals my age are no longer employable because they did not keep their skill sets up. They did not continue to learn, develop, and grow. The worst time to get plugged into an industry association, nonprofits, organizations is when you're unemployed. That's too late. Network during your career constantly. All of these things are resume builders. Go get your master's degree. Get designations aligned with the industry you're in. Get additional licensing. Continue your education. Get involved in industry associations. Participate. Be an active participant on a committee. Don't just join a committee and do nothing. Remember that brand image? Wrong image, wrong image. Join a committee, sell, get a board position, volunteer anywhere, junior league, or Habitat for Humanity, or the North Texas Food Bank. Because guess what? Employers are there volunteering too, who are also socially responsible. Keep up with technology and innovation. I mean, boy, I can't tell you how important that is. So many people in my peer group, emails a stretch for them. And guess what? It decreases the value of their resume. They are not worth very much. Okay. All right. That's my advice for you. I'll open it up for any questions anybody might have. I appreciate your coming and listening to what I have to say. Any questions?
I'm positive there will be a lot of questions, but I would let the guests ask questions.
I have a question.
Thank you, Arden.
Yeah, you said in the beginning that one of the most important things that you can do with a career in real estate is identify the asset class that you are passionate about. And for some people, that's kind of hard to do, especially whenever asset classes are kind of going in and out, like retail and office and stuff. So how do you suggest people pick their asset class?
Well, I'd go back to my economic analysis and what's driving that local economy. So as an example, if you're, going to want to go work in Mexico, it's resorts, right? That's what drives that economy. Yeah, if you want to stay in Dallas and work right now, the two asset class types that are really thriving are industrial and multifamily. So depending on where you want to live, I'd be looking at the economic drivers for that local economy.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Julie, this is Sriram Villapuram from UT Arlington.
Ah, nice to see you. How are
Good to see
you?
you. I'm well. How are you?
Good. I hope your family's doing well.
We're all hunkered down. We're all quarantining inside the house since March. No, I'm just kidding. One of the questions that I had was a lot of students in our program, they don't have a bachelor's degree in real estate, but their first job is in the real estate industry. And, in a broad sense, they're liking the industry. So they're coming to school to get a master's degree. How can they go about looking for the next steps into their future? They have some experience in real estate. They know about either property management, they know about construction. They come from civil engineering, construction management, various backgrounds. Some have operations experience. They're not too worried about, I want to be in the same spot when I started the program. They're looking for a change of some sort. If you were to be in their shoes, how would you go about thinking about your next steps?
That's a great question, and it's one I get all the time. And everybody's career is unique. And even if they're transitioning from one area of the industry or even a different industry, if you strip down to what are the basic skill sets that are required to perform the job, that helps be that bridge. In terms of, I have an individual who was in customer service at Bank of America and customer service at Time Warner industry. And my client was like, why are you presenting this person for a property management job? And I said, the majority of that position is being able to interact and problem solve with people. All day, property managers problem solve and have to have good customer service skills. And they said, you know what? I never really thought about it that way, but you're right. And so also this individual was older, in their mid 30s. The reason I say that is a property manager needs to have boots on the ground experience. What happens if a car catches fire in the parking lot? What happens if the HVAC explodes? Even though you've never dealt with it enough, you have enough life experience to know who you should call and where you can get help. I have many individuals who have approached me trying to bridge from construction into development. And a critical skill, as you know, is those financial analysis skills. So going to get an MBA that has that cash flow finance background gives them that bridge. And boy, what a powerful background to come from construction to go into development. The missing skill set is the financial analysis skills. So they'll use graduate school as the bridge to get them from construction into development. Does that help?
Yeah, no, definitely that does help. Yes, thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
We're recording this. A lot of our students who couldn't make it to this meeting will listen to this and they'll definitely appreciate this. Thank you.
Well, great. I appreciate the opportunity. As you know, I'm very passionate about the commercial real estate industry. We have so many talented students that we work with every day. And unless our students know how to position themselves and the messaging they need to have and how to approach their job search, we're kind of at a dead end, when they leave school. So we really need to position them for success to find their next career opportunity.
And this is about, sorry, the students, I'm asking on behalf of the students. So
Okay.
one of the other things that students come up to me and ask is, you've highlighted that yourself in your slides. There's so many associations and organizations out there that serve commercial real estate. Where do they start? There's some common thread like networking opportunities, etc. And one of the general good things is that everyone tries to help. Somebody help them, get a foot into the door, and everyone tries to help. Searching for the right talent is really hard. Always, doesn't matter whether you're in a crisis or not. And so there's so much commonality across these associations. Is there a way to sort out and say, I'm going to dedicate myself to these two associations? One of it, I think, was in one of your suggestions, which was choose your sub area. Is that a good way to think about which association you want to be tied to?
I think it's a combination of things. So I'd go back to your managing your brand. I met with a student last week, and this individual said, I don't want to be a broker and I don't want to be a financial analyst. What else can I do in the commercial real estate industry? And I said, you know what? If the fact that you've identified what you don't want to do is very helpful, right? So think about, what are you naturally good at? Are you good at your interpersonal skills? Do you enjoy working by yourself and doing research, and then align yourself with the opportunities. So as an example, we know if you want to be a real estate developer, you start as a financial analyst, okay? That's crunching numbers all day long and running cash flows. If that doesn't appeal to you, move on to something that does appeal to you. A property manager. It's like being a mayor of your own city. You have the tenants, you have your vendors, you have a budget, you have the owner. You make all the decisions. You're not behind the desk 8 hours a day. You're out walking the property, solving problems, being the mayor, having tenant relations. If that appeals to you, then the industry associations for you are BOMA, IFMA, IRUM, NACOR, right? Somebody's got to manage the real estate. If you're a person that says numbers bog me down, they give me tired head, then maybe you want to be a broker because you're out meeting people, networking, leveraging relationships. You still have to run a back of the napkin analysis, but you're not tied to a desk 8 hours a day doing it, okay? So the first thing is think about, what do I naturally thrive at? What would I enjoy doing? I'll never forget, in my day, I was, everybody said, Julie, you should be a computer programmer. So I did an internship at IBM, and I said to myself, that's exactly what I don't want to do. They don't talk to each other. They stare at a screen 8 hours a day. They don't socialize. Cross that off the list. So just think about, what do you enjoy doing and what are your natural strengths? Work towards that and leverage that, and think about the careers that leverage your strengths. Again, when someone hires you out of college, they're hiring that aptitude to learn. Now they're looking at, what are your natural tendencies? What are you good at? Are you good at sitting and working by yourself? Go be an appraiser. What a great job. You're self-employed. Appraisers are never ever out of work. When the economy's down and values are dropping, they're appraising. When the economy's good and the values are going up, they're appraising. If you like working by yourself, being self-employed, having autonomy, That's the job for you. Then I would join the Appraisal Institute. Okay. So really think about what are your natural preferences. If you want to work for a big institutional player, then join the Institutional Real Estate Inc. Industry Association. Those are all institutional investors. They're large corporations, deep pockets. When you work for a large company like that, your job is narrowly focused. You stay in your lane. Great training, great resources, great opportunities to move around the company and never change the company job. You can change your job but still work for the same company. Or do you like being in a small company where you have a wider exposure to the entire life cycle of an asset? Go hang out at NAOP, go hang out at the Urban Land Institute. Those are smaller companies that each person is a key contributor and they have a wider exposure to the entire life cycle of an asset. So think about it. I mean, I worked in corporate America. I ran Nations Bank's market research department. It was a great foundation, great. I got so much great training and education there. It was amazing, but I found that I was more entrepreneurial in spirit. So as I advanced in my career, I went to work for smaller companies and had a more wider range of responsibilities and exposure to the life cycle of an asset.
Okay, well, that's quite helpful, because the first reaction that I see from students is, my gosh, this is an ocean. Where do I go? So it's important to start thinking about where you see yourself, and then start to associate yourself with people in that area and go about. So that decision, I think, needs to be made somewhat early on to start building your relationships and everything along the way, so that they're ready to hire you when you're ready.
And you know what I always found to be, same with how I picked my graduate, my graduate degree is in real estate development, was when I read the course descriptions, instead of feeling like, oh, brother, I was like, wow, I can't wait to go to these classes. Well, when you read a job description, when you read it, if you think, oh my gosh, that I don't even want to get out of bed to do that, versus you read it and you think, gosh, that leverages my experience working at Best Buy, or that leverages my experiences being the hostess at, a restaurant. And wow, that sounds exciting. I would really enjoy doing that. That's how you know you're walking in the right direction, if the job description sounds appealing to you, not like, you would dread going to work every day.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Great questions.
That was helpful.
Ms. Lynch, this is Kanti here with you, and I have a quick question. Apart from being a professor with UTD, you're also the Chief Talent Officer with LYNOUS Management. Could you tell us about your role with this company and what do you do with as a talent management officer?
Well, thanks for asking. You know what, Conti, I've worked in the commercial real estate industry over 30 years. Simultaneously, I've been a professor for 22 years, and a talent management platform provide the marriage of the two, which is, I have former students saying, Professor, my company needs training in Argus or leadership training. So at LYNOUS Talent Management, we do permanent recruiting, temporary staffing, and training specifically for the commercial real estate industry. At one time, I ran a national staffing platform, and clients would come to me and say, we need to fire so-and-so. And I said, well, tell me, why are we going to fire so-and-so? Well, when you really analyze the systemic problem, it's because the company wasn't providing the training and support for those individuals to be successful. And although I can make a lot of money doing permanent recruiting, I rather make companies successful. And how do I make companies successful? By hiring the right people for their companies, providing training and support for them to be successful. So they really go hand in hand. Because if you hire somebody and then you don't provide the training and support for them to be successful, you're just going to be letting them go a couple years later after the company has outgrown the person. Shame on the company. Okay. So it marries. I want to help people find their ideal jobs. I want my companies to be successful and profitable. And how do you do that? You've got to properly manage and train your talent. And like I was saying, those work style habits. I'll have two investment companies, and the core values are family. We're a Christian-based company. We value work-life balance. That's one investment company. I've got another investment company that says we're decisive, hard-charging, and motivated to reach the maximum potential. Both real estate investment companies, very different cultures. So identifying the culture that aligns with the candidate's core values and how they best work is what's most important. So I work with the companies to identify the candidates whose work style habits and their goals align with what the company's needs are. Because really, at the end of the day, a financial analyst at either company's doing the same job, but how they go about their work is going to be very different. So critical to figure out a company culture that is really going to help each side thrive and do well.
Right. Thank you, Ms. Lynch, on this answers. If students had to connect with you for designing their resumes, so how would they go about this, please?
Well, I would first suggest if students need help with their resumes, go to the Career Center. It is free. I'm expensive. Too expensive. Go to the Career Center. It's free. That's part of what your tuition pays for. Go to the Career Center. They do a wonderful job. Attend as many of the Career Center webinars on how to do a video interview, how to interview face-to-face, how to find a job. That's what your tuition is paying for, not just your classes. Use all the resources available at the Career Center. My contact information's on the last slide. If you want to put it up there, I'm happy to provide career coaching. But really, at this level, the right people for you is your Career Center. They're going to be able to give you all the time that you need. I can give you 10 to 15 minutes. They'll give you 10 to 15 hours. So invest the time there. If you want to send me your resume because you're looking for a job, please send it over. Send it over in Word format. As opportunities come in, I'm happy to let you know about them. I have a fraction of a percent of the available jobs. You certainly use me as one of your channels, but use all the channels I have listed on that slide if you really want to have a high probability of getting an opportunity.
Right. Thank you, Ms. Lynch.
You're welcome.
Ms. Julie, could you hear me?
Yes, hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. My name is Ijaz. I teach August Enterprise to graduate student at UTA. My background was residential real estate, so I decided to tap into commercial real estate. So that's why I went back to UTA and got my MS in real estate. But I got the opportunity to teach the graduate student because I had the certification in August Enterprise and August Developer. And I'm very passionate about, teaching both of those courses. My question is to tap into commercial real estate, doing analysis and also training other employees, the company's employee. How you go about that? Because of the current COVID-19 situation, it's very difficult to network in the market.
Yes, it is. It is and it isn't, right? Because from a time chewer, it's acceptable now to do a video conference, whereas before that would have been not a favorable alternative. So I just want to say something about Argus. I've been teaching it since the 1990s when it was a DOS-based program. Please tell your students, put it on your resume. I've had employers say, Professor Lynch, I'm trying to choose between two of your students. One has Argus and the other one doesn't. And I said, that's not true. I taught them both. One put it on their resume, the other one didn't. And it almost cost them getting the job. So if they are taking Argus at UTA, have them put it on the resume. The time you're spending teaching them Argus is almost 4 times the amount of time they would get from getting the Argus certification. They, as you know, are better qualified, but your students need to be able to articulate that to potential employers. And just to say, my professor spent, pick a number, 24 hours between class time and assignments. The artist certification is only an 8-hour course, So not only that, but at the university, you're getting theory behind it. With the Argus training, the test is how many characters go in the label field. That really doesn't speak to their financial analysis skills. So any examples they have of case studies they modeled or homework they modeled in Argus and quantify how many they've done, they're really much better qualified coming out of the university with that same Argus training. Sorry, I had to give that pitch because it's one of the things, a missed opportunity. So with students, again, the good news is you're asking an employer for their time. And so to be able to offer up a 10-minute Zoom call or a 10-minute Teams call, that face-to-face interaction is critical from an emotional connection standpoint. You're only asking for 10 minutes of time. It's when individuals call and say, can we have coffee? Can we go to lunch? You're really saying, can I have an hour and a half of your time? That's a big ask. So unless you've got a big give, they're not going to give it to you. Okay. Now, at the same time, think about what you have in a hip pocket. If you say, oh, I just got a copy of the 4th quarter CoStar report and I did a summary of the findings, when we get on the call, I could share that with you. Give the person you're interviewing something in return, not just, or maybe I could tell you about an initiative UTA is doing surrounding real estate and how it's benefiting the community. Now you're giving the person something, okay? So the big thing is, remember, everybody's time is very valuable. It's the most limited resource they have. Ask for a finite amount of time. They may choose to extend the time and give them something of value too.
Thanks.
Any other guests? Any questions for Ms. Lynch?
I have a question, Professor. Can you hear me?
I can. I just don't know who it is speaking. Do you mind
I'm sorry.
introducing yourself? No, that's okay.
This is Carlos. I'm a student in your 7 p.m. class.
Hello, Carlos. How are you?
How are you? Good. How are you doing?
Good. See you at
Even though
Argus tonight, right?
Yes, definitely. I
Yeah.
love that. Software is pretty cool.
That's awesome.
I definitely see myself as an analyst, but do you think it's still a good idea to pursue a broker's license, just in case you want to broaden, which way you want to go as far as your career in the future?
Carlos, I'm a big advocate of adding tools to your toolkit, and a real estate license is one of them. I've had my real estate license since I'm 18 years old. I became a broker at 23, and I've never worked as a broker a day in my life. But what it does say to an employer is I have additional credentialing, I have additional knowledge, and I've passed a test, which speaks to my ability to retain the information. It's a personal decision. It's going to cost you about $1,000 every 2 years to maintain your license with renewal and continuing education that you're going to need to get. So if you think it's worth it, that's fine. I mean, I just help my children buy a house, and I handed my daughter a check for $12,000. I handed my other child a check for $11,000. I went and bought a house myself this year, and I got a 25% referral fee because I bought it from out of state. So I've gotten my return on investment, but I think you can never add enough tools to your toolkit. You never know when you're going to need to reach in and pull one of those tools out and use it. By the way, speaking of that, Texas recognizes college courses towards the required hours to get your real estate license. So if you print off your official transcript and send it to the education department at REC and ask them what courses would apply towards your real estate license, we speak in credit hours, they speak in terms of clock hours. So 3 credit hours at the university is worth 45 clock hours at REC. So you can use like the real estate valuation class, you can use real estate principles, which you've taken, you can use real estate finance. So right there, you've already knocked out a good portion of the clock hours required to sit for your real estate license. So I would absolutely pursue that. That's a 2-for-1 bang there. Thanks for the question, Carlos. See you tonight.
Thank you. Yeah. See you tonight.
Yeah.
We have 10 more minutes, precisely. Right. Do we wrap this up? Because any more questions, guests?
I have a question. So if we have to send a resume, where should we send it? Just email it to you? Just if you have any upcoming opportunities?
Yes, you see my email on the slide there, julie@lynous.com.
Oh, okay.
Please send it in Word format. And one of the things that I will tell you where a resume gets pushed to the side for me and for many HR professionals, if they're not sure what you want. So in other words, if you're graduating with a degree in finance with a concentration in real estate, and you send your resume in, they think, I don't know if this person wants to be a property manager or a financial analyst. So be sure to put a 1-line objective that says, I'm looking for an opportunity as a financial analyst, or I'm looking for an opportunity to become a property management professional, or I'm looking for an opportunity to be in investment sales. Steer the reader specifically for the type of opportunities you're looking for. Not, I'm looking to be with a fast-growing mid-sized company in the Dallas area. That's not specific enough. Yeah, I'm not pointing that at you, just,
That's good.
trying to be helpful.
No, sure. Thanks. Thank you so much.
Yeah, please. Yeah. Or, like I said, those people who've been in construction and want to transition to development, then, a good objective to put on the resume is I'm looking for a development analyst role that will leverage my extensive background in construction and my newly earned master's degree in finance. Boy, that's a great one.
That's a good one. Yes.
Right. We're just about 8 minutes more. Do we have any more questions for Ms. Lynch before we wrap up?
Conti, do you want to tell everybody how we met? That's a good testimonial, isn't it?
Yes. Okay. We met at the IRM case study competition final lunch event, and Christine introduced me to Ms. Lynch, and I was inspired. From there on, I have been following with Ms. Lynch for being a speaker on SSRE, Student Society of Real Estate, to the members. But finally, we met and we spoke and discussed. It took about 5 months for us to actually plan the entire thing, and we booked Ms. Lynch about 6 months in advance. The first speaker to to be locked in for our this semester event was Ms. Lynch. So thank you so much. We had to postpone, for a week because it wasn't marketed very well. But thank you so much for being here with us. I would also thank Arden and Gabby for connecting with me and collaborating and making this event successful. By the way, Arden and Gabby, would you like to take a few minutes to speak about your real estate club?
Gabby, do you want to speak on it?
No, I was requesting if you would want to speak about your real estate club.
I think Gabby's in class, Arden.
Oh, no worries. So our real estate club has kind of transformed this semester, and we're all really proud of it. We've had some really good events this semester, and we've had a lot of growth with our members and everything. So yeah, despite COVID, it's been a really great semester for us, and having Professor Lynch's guidance also has been a great help. And we're looking forward to more events, possibly with UTA next semester or in the next coming years. And yeah, we're just really excited about this event and how it went down.
Yes, this was exciting, but thank you, Arden, so much for helping me put this across as well in a short span of time. I appreciate it. And moving on, thank you, Ms. Lynch, for an enlightening and a very informative presentation. We truly appreciate, having this mysterious topic clarified on how to obtain a successful career in real estate. And what I learned specifically that real estate is a relationship-based industry, and now I can draw a roadmap around this point and figure out how to tap the touch points for any person pursuing real estate as their career. Thank you so much for all that you shared with us, and thank you first of all for the time that you shared with us. And thank you, Professor Hans. Thank you, Dr. Wee and Francisca, for helping us put all this together.
Can I ask one last question to Ms. Julie? Just one last quick question.
Sure.
Yeah. Do you teach Argus Enterprise only, or do you teach Argus Developer as well?
You know what? I don't teach developer, although I am very aware of it. I worked for Argus at the time they acquired the company out of London. But I find that the market is not saturated with developer like it's with Argus. So I feel that it's a better use of the students' time. I spend half the semester on Excel cash flow analysis, and then the second half of the semester on Argus. I find that meets more of the mass of the market demand.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. It was nice to meet you. And I'm so excited about having the chance for our universities to connect. And thank you for the opportunity. And I'm here, and I look forward to continuing to work together. It was good to see you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Bye-bye. Hi, Kanti. Thank you. Nice job.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.